You know, there are always a ton of stories that are very concerning. And this story in particular, there's an aspect of it that is actually good news. And I'm kind of excited to talk about this because it is bad news, but the response has actually given me a little bit of encouragement. So joining us right now is Joshua Mercer with Catholic Vote. He's on to talk to us about the situation with Target. We've also covered the situation with the LA Dodgers a number of times, and we might touch on that a little bit today as well. But I want to focus in on the Target. But good morning to you, Mr. Mercer.
Good to be with you.
Praise be to God. It's good to have you on. Now, this situation with Target, I think, is really, really concerning. Could you lay out for us what exactly is going on?
Yeah, I mean, actually, there's so many things going on with Target. Two major problems, though. Like what they're doing right now, Target has always been a very left-wing corporation. People remember a few years ago, they did all this thing where they allow anyone to be in any bathroom. That was a few years ago. There was an attempt at a boycott then. It didn't really pan out too much, unfortunately. So they just keep going. That's what happens if you don't push back hard enough. I know some loyal listeners did, but not enough people. Okay, so I'm not trying to criticize those who did. That was good. But now their new pride line that's targeting children is, I mean, obviously we think it's just abhorrent that you're targeting this kind of subculture, radical sexual subculture to children. But they're doing something that's, I'm trying to be as polite as I can for the audience, but they're calling it tuck friendly, which is to say, if a boy wants to pretend like he's a girl, this is stuff that will help that person dress like as if he's a girl. I'm trying to be as delicate as I can.
No, I understand. I understand, Mr. Mercer.
I think your audience understands what I'm getting at here.
It's very concerning because I talk about this fairly frequently, that the left will go so far and so do things that are so disgustingly awful that we can't even talk about it in polite society. And so it's just so difficult to talk about because you're like, I can't really describe to you how bad it is.
I mean, I understand. And that's why, when we send out emails, even we're like, we don't want to talk about everything right here. It's kind of gross. However, we feel like if you want to know everything about it, you can go to this website, catholicvote.org, and you can see all the details there. Let me just tell you, you can take my word for it that how disgusting all this stuff is, but you don't have to. You can go to catholicvote.org. You can see the story we have on Target. And the thing about Target too is that not only are they doing this stuff where they're targeting trans clothing to children, which is just ridiculous. We should not have children mutilate their bodies. That's just absolutely insane. And thankfully, many states are starting to ban that kind of activity, the harming of our children in this way. But that's just one of the major, massive problems with Target right now. The other one is they hired a Satanist from England to help them with their clothing line. I mean, I'm not even kidding here. Like you go to this guy's website and he's got like stickers that says like Satan loves your pronouns, respects your pronouns. And in fact, one of them shows this skeleton and says, "Welcome to the gay cult," with the rainbow flag behind it.
Whenever they look at that, you're like, you should just believe them. You should just believe them when they tell you.
If a conservative did that, someone on the left would say, like, "How dare you accuse us of being a cult?" But it is. It really is a cult.
I know. I want to read to people what exactly they're saying here. It says here that on their website, the designer has on their website, "Satan respects pronouns is a fun way to show your pride." It goes on and says, "A lot of LGBT people have found that Christianity hasn't always been the most welcoming to them and find solace and humor in the idea that Satan would. Satan loves you and respects who you are. LGBT people are so often referred to as being a product of Satan or going against God's will, so fine, we'll hang with Satan instead. Naturally, Satan respects your pronouns," adding that they went with a variation of Baphomet, who we rebuke in Jesus' name, for this design, a deity who themselves is a mixture of genders, beings, ideas, and existence. They reject binary stereotypes and expectations. Perfect. And I think I'm like, okay, well, there you go, folks. They're trying to tell you they worship Satan, that LGBT ideology is in league with Satan. Maybe we should believe them. What do you say, Mr. Mercer?
I tell you what, too, here's the thing I would like to say. you know, we need the moms. We really need the moms to step up to the plate here. I gotta say this, okay? Now, I like to enjoy a few beers, okay? I think I'm like a lot of men in our audience here, and the men stepped up to the plate on the Bud Light controversy. We said, no way. This is a grown man. He's pretending like he's a little girl. We're not going to buy this Bud Light stuff anymore. And I have other choices. I can choose a Miller Lite, which they're even kind of going crazy, or Coors Light or something else. There's a lot of beers. I don't have to choose this. I don't have to endorse what they're trying to do. And so a lot of men stepped up to the plate, and the sales for Bud Light have tanking. And that's good because corporations realize this is toxic to get involved with this kind of stuff, to support a transgender man who pretends he's a young girl. Well, now we need the moms. We need the moms to step up and say, I'm not going to go with Target with this crazy tuck friendly trans clothing for kids, which they say mutilate your bodies and we'll have the clothing ready to go for you. No way. We need the moms to say no to Target. I'm not saying that Walmart and every other company is perfect, and they have a 100% score. I'm not saying that. However, we got to say this is a line too far, and we got to say we're going to not use our purchasing power here. And the fact is, we can make a difference. And the
Amen.
Bud Light thing showed that we can make a difference. And so we need to use our money wisely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's very important because as you're saying this is incredibly important because like you mentioned, we tried to boycott Target back when they allowed the transgender bathrooms, and it did not really work. I know my own mother, we boycotted Target, and we just haven't gone back since. And I don't know what it is about Target, but women really like Target for some reason. But really, it needs to happen.
Target, right? It makes you feel like you're a big guy. Like, this is cool.
It's very important.
I get it. That's what
this
they're
is
trying to market.
something that is a big deal. It's a big deal. Like people are trying to come out and say, and I get it. They're saying everything is woke. We can't boycott everything. And I understand that. But I'm saying that this is so beyond the pale. Someone has to be made an example of, and Target has to be the target here because they are coming out full force. However, Mr. Mercer, they came out and they said, oh, we're moving our stuff to the back. It's okay, guys. Nothing to see here. Let's move on. So some people are trying to claim victory. What say you, Mr. Mercer?
That's when you turn up the heat, honestly. I mean, the thing is, Target is so important. We didn't even get into the fact of what they do in terms of HR policy, which is to, they provide their workers the opportunity to go to other states to get abortions if they're like in Texas where they respect life. So, I mean, Target is just absolutely bad from head to toe. But on this, I mean, they are out there promoting this stuff. They put it in the back of the store. Like, no, not cool. The thing is, these companies have long held like, well, let's just ride the wave of the news cycle out for a few weeks and see if it passes over. And then we can kind of, ignore it. And people get distracted and they'll get on with their lives and they'll forget about it. And that's what Bud Light has been counting on. Like, they're like thinking, man, any week now, these people are going to just shut up and drink a beer again. But we got to stay strong. And the fact is, they are freaking out. I mean, they took their one ad executive, Bud Light did, and they sent her to Siberia. I mean, I'm joking, but it's just been horrible for them. And so we need to increase the pain there because that's the only way that they're going to learn on this. You can't support that stuff anymore. So say no to Target.
And yeah, the victory, what does victory look like? It looks like them completely rejecting this ideology. That's the only way that we have victory. The left does not take small victories, and neither can we. Just by moving it to the side is not victory. And we know this because what does California Governor Gavin Newsom say? He comes out and says that they are offensive to the LGBT community. He comes out and he tweets out, CEO of Target Brian Cornell selling out the LGBTQ community to extremists is a real profile in courage. This is very important. He called us an attack on the gay community happening across the country. This is very, very important because that's what they see as victory. They say, you're either all in with us or you're all out, and that's it. And we have to be the same way. We cannot cave just because we get a tiny victory. Do you agree, Mr. Mercer?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, just the fact that they put it in the back of the store or they remove it from some of the stores in more conservative cities in the South, that's not victory. We have to say, stop marketing clothing, which, would be for children that have their genitals mutilated. Pardon my French, but like that's not okay. Like we have to say no. Like no children under 8. I mean, if someone's over 18 and they want to, change their gender and go through surgery and mutilate themselves, I think that would still be should be against the law. But if I guess in this country, if you're over 18, you want to do it, whatever. I think it's very foolish and dumb. And the reason I think it's dumb is because when you do that, you mutilate your body, then I think you run the risk that you're gonna exacerbate the mental problem that you've had, where you don't feel like you're in the right body, and that's not the cure that they need. We need to stop and say, Target, you're not helping children, because this embrace of gender surgeries on children is only going to make more suicides happen.
Amen.
And the left says, no, it only happens this way because we don't embrace them enough and let them agree with whatever they want. Like, that's not the answer.
Absolutely. And the CEO, just if anybody is still curious on whether or not this is something that we should be boycotting, the CEO, Brian Cornell, came out afterwards and said, I think those are just good business decisions, and it's the right thing for society, and it's a great thing for our brand. The things we've done for diversity, equity, and inclusion standpoint, it's adding value. It's helping us drive sales. It's building greater engagement with both our teams and our guests. And those are just the right things for our business today. When we think about the purpose at Target, it's really about helping all the families. And that all word is really important. This is very, very important that he thinks this is what's good for his business. So I say, we take him at his word. All right, he thinks that that's good for his business. Well, then we will not give him his business. We won't give him our business if he's going to keep promoting these ideologies. And so he has to come out and do a complete 180 and just reject this ideology entirely and wholly. It has to be completely condemned. Mr. Mercer, where can people find out more information about this, and where can people get connected with the Catholic Vote?
Well, yeah, go to catholicvote.org. You can sign up for a daily email called The Loop. Over 430,000 people get it every day. Great way to keep informed on what's going on in the news. If you go to catholicvote.org, we have a story about Target and also Bud Light and the Dodgers, all this kind of stuff. This is a great, in a true sense, a real reawakening, not the quote woke stuff, a reawakening of Christians realizing, you know what, I can be really smart with my economic decisions and make sure I'm not supporting corporations that are attacking our values as Christians. So I think it's really important work, and we'd love to have people sign up and help out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So go check out Catholic Vote. It's an excellent place. I check it every morning to look at news. So catholicvote.org, and tune into The Loop. It's very edifying. So I personally listen to it. I enjoy it. I read it. And they did a great job with the LA Dodgers. We talked about that a number of times already. We probably will cover it more. But Mr. Mercer, God bless you. God love you. And we'll definitely have you back on soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
And that's going to do it for this segment. When we come back, the topic of trauma. How can we as Catholics overcome it? All right, this and more.
Hello, this is Steve Gleason with your 1-minute tool for Catholic evangelism. Here's the